Your child melts down over the smallest things. They cannot sleep. They refuse to go to school. The emotional outbursts are getting worse, and you're walking on eggshells, never knowing what might set them off next. You've tried counseling, you've gone to therapy sessions, and maybe even resorted to medication, but nothing seems to stick. In fact, everything you try seems to make their anxiety and aggression worse. You're not alone. You're not failing your child. 4.4 million children in America struggle with anxiety every day, and these numbers are only climbing year after year. What most parents don't realize is that their child's anxiety isn't a behavioral problem that needs to be managed. It's a neurological condition that can be addressed if you identify the root cause. When 8-year-old Damon started having self-harming thoughts and refusing to go to school, his mom Natalia felt hopeless. She said everything I would do was making his anxiety and aggression worse. But when they discovered the real root cause wasn't in Damon's head, it was stuck in his nervous system, everything changed. Today you're going to discover why your child's anxiety isn't behavioral but neurological, how early life stress gets stuck in their nervous system, and most importantly, how neurologically focused chiropractic care can help your child finally access their natural ability to calm down and regulate their own emotions. When we met Damon, he was struggling emotionally with anxiety, not an easy thing for an 8-year-old to handle. His emotions were coming out as anger and aggression. He was refusing to go to school, and things were getting progressively worse for his entire family. It got so bad that he was starting to self-harm thoughts and having actions against his own body. Damon had already been through behavioral program. His mom Natalia felt that everything she had tried was making his anxiety and aggression worse. She was even worried that school would look like if she had to somehow adapt during his adolescence as going to get older. When she found our office, it was the first time that Natalia felt heard and hopeful. Every other doctor dismissed her feelings. As she said, there was no judgment. They felt to understand and finally had answers to why Damon was struggling. And even better, there was a solution. Understanding why your child's nervous system gets stuck in anxiety mode is the first step to this change. One, anxiety is a normal part of life. It's going to show up naturally during times of stress, big life moments, or challenges. The worst kind of anxiety is anxiety about having anxiety, which is really a sign of a dysregulated nervous system that's oftentimes shifted into a state of fight or flight. Your child's anxiety isn't a character flaw or a behavioral choice. It's their nervous system stuck in a constant state of fight or flight. It's unable to access the rest, digest, and regulate mode that is essential for emotional well-being and full adaptability to stress. When the nervous system is out of balance, even everyday simple activities feel threatening to your child's brain and body. It triggers an anxiety response that seems disproportionate to the situation. It's an out of sync individual. This stuck state gets caused by subluxation, which is stress and tension that builds up in their nervous system and interferes with proper brain to body connection. This perfect storm that creates childhood anxiety, it starts early in life. See, subluxation buildup often starts as early as stress during pregnancy, when maternal stress hormones cross the placenta and impact the baby's developing nervous system in utero. Then we have birth interventions, C-sections, forceps, or vacuum extractions that can create physical trauma to the delicate upper neck and brainstem region, where crucial nerves are housed. This is another monumental step to a dysregulated nervous system. Then we have early childhood experiences, falls, illnesses, emotional stress, and even frequent antibiotic use continue to add layers upon layers of stress to an already overwhelmed and out of sync nervous system. Without addressing these root causes, children don't grow out of anxiety. They often grow into more complex neurological challenges. This is the thing that doctors are not telling you, is that there is a cause to this dysregulated nervous system. There is a opportunity though, and the vagus nerve connection is what most doctors fail to mention. The vagus nerve is your child's brake pedal. It's responsible for activating this calming mechanism, the healing side of the nervous system that allows them to self-regulate and to feel safe. When subluxation interferes with vagus nerve function, your child loses access to this natural calming mechanism, making it nearly impossible for them to settle down on their own. See, this is where it's not your child's fault. It's the wiring going on in their brain and body, which explains why traditional behavioral approaches often fall short. They're trying to teach coping skills to a child's nervous system that is physically incapable of accessing the calm state needed to use those skills effectively. It's why therapies plateau so early. It's not a behavioral issue or something they need to learn how to do. We first must address and identify this root cause. At Maximize Chiropractic, we use advanced insight neurological scans to detect and measure the presence and severity of subluxation and nervous system dysfunction in your child. We're the only profession that actually focuses on the neurological patterns within your child's nervous system. These scans show us exactly where stress is stuck in your child's nervous system, and it helps us to create a personalized care plan tailored to meet their individual and unique needs. One example is a surface EMG. It's a perfect representation of how stuck sympathetic fight or flight patterns are commonly seen on these scans, and these children often are struggling with anxiety. These scans show us all sorts of increased excessive tension in the cervical and sacral regions, which flood the nervous system with nonstop sensory noise and overload. That's where this overwhelming brain and body connection is left in a sympathetic dominant state. Additionally, this surface EMG scan can help us to understand areas of underactivity, areas that are chronically fatigued and stressed, areas that resort to the adrenal glands, helping to soothe the body's mechanisms. It indicates long-standing stress, that these patterns lead to adrenal fatigue and insufficiency as a secondary cause of the subluxation mechanism, which is the hallmark finding of anxiety and neurological exhaustion. Our adjustments work to release the stress that is stuck within their sympathetic nervous system. We activate the vagus nerve and restore a balance in this nervous system as a whole. It's the entire clinical focus within neurologically-focused chiropractic care is to identify these stress patterns, help to create a balancing state, and allow your child's body to heal from within. Everything we talked about in this video sounds all too familiar. And if you're like most parents, you're wanting to learn on how to navigate this anxiety. The insight scans are the first step in identifying where these stress patterns are being held and the actual opportunities we have to unravel this stress within their body. Click on the link in the bio below to learn more about our insight scans or our clinical process here at Maximize Chiropractic.